Okay, so we left off on the last layer, finishing the first layer, right? And again, we're going to go in 3 layers. So the first layer, we use a number of different techniques to get those pieces up into place. The next then would be to go to the middle layer. Now for the middle layer, there's only 4 pieces. So there are 4 centers, right? And then in between each of the centers, there's 1 edge piece. So for example, if I line these guys up correctly, this is actually the correct piece, but it's not oriented correctly. If I look over here, this is not the correct piece. This should be orange and blue between those 2 centers. This should be orange and green between these 2. It's in there, but it's in the wrong orientation. And in the case of the red and the green, it's the wrong piece completely. So at this point, while I did the first layer facing up, and typically people who are really have very low times for the speed cubing method, we'll typically do everything with the first layer oriented down. I do the first layer oriented up, and as soon as I finish that first layer, as I'm putting that last piece in place, I'm also rotating the cube and putting that face down. I don't really need to see it anymore. I know that everything is in place there. I really want to be able to see the last 2 layers so that I can find the pieces that I need to move into place next. So I did turn it so the center lines up with the color, so now all these guys line up with each other correctly, and I need to put these edge pieces in. In this case, because the layer that I've chosen to be my last layer is going to be the yellow one, all of the pieces that I'm looking for, all of the edges that I'm looking for will not have yellow, because all the yellow edges belong on this layer, not on the middle layer right here. So for example, as I rotate this thing around and look for pieces, here's a red and yellow. That's not going to be a piece that I'm going to need to worry about. That's going to be a piece I'll worry about in the last layer. Here's another yellow piece. Don't need to worry about that one. But here's a piece, blue and orange, that does not belong on this last layer. It belongs down here on the middle layer. So what I'm going to do is, and this is something you just do when you're first learning this, so that you can make sure that you get it oriented correctly. I'm going to turn that last layer so that the piece that I'm going to move into place is directly above the spot where I want to put it. So I want the blue and orange piece to go in between the blue and orange centers. So the orange and the blue centers are right there. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is, depending on which color is facing me, and it has to be one of those 2. It either has to be the one on my right or the one on my left. For this particular one, it turns out to be the one on the right. So because of that, I'm going to turn this guy towards the right, so he lines up temporarily, and I'm going to go one more turn. So now that blue and orange corner is right, or blue and orange edge is right over here. Okay, so I've moved him to the color he matches with, and I went one more. And now what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to move a piece around, and as I move that piece around, I'm going to bring it back by some alternative method, and as I bring it back by a different method, pieces will have moved around, and I will have moved this piece from up here down into this one, and it will have the correct orientation. The piece that I'm going to move is going to be this corner. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to turn that corner up, I'm going to move that corner away from me, and then I'm going to put this whole side right back. So these 2 pieces I'm going to put right back in place. Okay? And if you'll notice, I already have the pieces I want in place. So I have the blue and orange pieces are lined up with each other now. Now all I need to do is to get these 2 pieces in these 2 spots right here. This is where they belong. Now obviously I could just turn it and they'd be in place, but then I would have lost my other two white pieces. I want to keep these 2 pieces. So in order to get these guys in place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move one more time in this direction, and while previously I was doing this side and this top side, the left side and the top side, now I'm going to stop using the left side, and instead I'm going to turn to the front face, the one that's facing towards me. And all I'm going to do is turn it one time like this, and you can see that these blue pieces are the pieces that are going to match up right here. As I pull them back, you'll see how they line up. And all I'm going to do now is turn that face back down. Okay? And I'm going to do this several more times so you can see exactly how it looks. So here is the red and the blue piece. So the red and blue edge belongs between the red and the blue centers. In this case, I have the color on my left side is the one that's facing out, so I'm going to turn it towards that color, and I'm going to go one more, and now that piece is over here on my left side, I'm going to work with the right face. So if I move the piece over to the left, I work on the right side. If I move the piece over to the right, I work on my left side. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that corner up, I'm going to push him to the back, and I'm going to put I'll put these pieces back down. Now, I took this piece and it was over here a moment ago, and I pulled it back towards me. I'm going to go one more time in that direction. Okay, so now it's set up to put in place. I'm just going to take a quick peek to see where my corner piece that I want to put in place. I'm going to take that corner piece. This is the one I want it to come up. I'm going to push these guys into place. I'm going to send that guy back down. So we'll move on to the next one. I'll go through each of these so you can get a chance to see all of them, all 4 of them going into place. So in this case, again, here's the red and the green piece. It belongs between the red and the green centers. So this is the spot where he's supposed to be. I have my color on my left is the one that's facing out. So I'm going to turn it that direction plus 1 more. Since I moved him over to my left side, I'm going to work on my right side. I'm going to turn the right side up. I'm going to push that corner away from me, and then I'm just going to put this face back down where it belongs. My 2 pieces are in place. Now in order to safely move them down into these 2 spots, what I'm going to do is push him to the back. So now he's over here on the back of the cube, and that frees me up. If you notice, I can turn this face now. It does not disturb them. Those 2 guys will stay together. I'm going to turn that face up. I'm going to slide those 2 guys into place, and I'm going to put that guy back down. We'll do one last one. So here is the green and orange edge, belongs between the green and orange centers. I'm going to go towards this guy. I'm going to go 1 more. He's on my left side now. He's right here on my left side, right there. I'm going to bring the right side up. I'm going to push the corner to the back and bring it back down. I'm going to go 1 more time in that direction on the top. Now I'm going to leave the right face, and instead I'm going to turn the front face. I'm going to turn the front face up. I'm going to slide that guy into place. Everybody's lined up there now. I'm just going to put that guy back down. Now you may have noticed that occasionally this piece was in the correct spot, but it was in the wrong orientation. So at this point, there is an algorithm for handling that, but at this point I'm going to save some of those algorithms for a separate video where I'll show just a few little extra tricks that you can do. What I would do for that particular situation is I would just simply do the algorithm twice. So I'll show you again what that looks like. So in this case, the piece is in the correct spot, but it's just not oriented correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the algorithm once, turn it up, push the corner away, drop that side back down, go 1 more. Now go to the front face, bring this empty corner up, slide the corner back into place, and send it back down. Now, this is really important. The piece that was right here went to back here. So I can bring him back around. I see that I have the left side is the one that is facing out. So I'm going to go in that direction, plus 1 more, and I'll just do the algorithm 1 more time. Turn that corner up, push it away, drop that face back down, push the top side 1 more to get that guy out onto the back side of the cube, and now I can turn the front face, put that guy into place, and send the guy back down. So the middle layer is basically the same algorithm. You may have to do it repeatedly. In this case, the one that I was looking at in particular, I had 2 of the pieces were already in place, so I would have had to repeat the algorithm a total of 6 times. But in general, most of the time you'll do it 4 times. Occasionally you might get lucky and one of the pieces might actually be in place. You might only have to do it 2 or 3 times. But in general, you're going to have to do it about 4 times, and occasionally you may have to do it repeat it more than once for one of the edges if the edge is already in place but flipped around backwards.